Hey guys, good morning. 2 more days. 2 more days. Trying to. Alrighty, and then pin this to the top. Right. There we go. Hey guys, could you see me? Let me figure out how to blah 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 blah. Dun 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 dun. Oh my god. All right, guys, say something so I know that you're there. Somebody said somebody. Somebody said somebody. Guys, say something so I know. We can see and hear you. Okay, perfect. Let me get the speakers up. Hello, Jason. What's going on? Just wait for for more people to get on. Are you guys ready? What's up, Maurice? What's up? Guess again. What's up? What is going on? You got some rest? Yeah, I got some rest. Not as much rest as I wanted to. I think if I slept in an hour more, it would be perfect. But hey, Robert. Hey, Michael. Hey, Michael number 2. Are you guys like excited about this election? I was watching, I have to watch stuff from the other side, and I get nauseated just because they're just lying. So some videos for CNN popped up in my feed, and they were basically saying that Biden is in the lead. It was like Michigan, Biden is ahead by 4 points, and then Florida is a toss-up when they know Florida is going to be a landslide. They're just, look at somebody, I forgot who was that called me yesterday, but they said the polls are the real, the rallies are the real polls. Yeah, I think all my Apple, Jason, good morning, and I hope you didn't forget to set your clocks 1 hour behind. I think the clocks are already automatically they set because of the what am I trying to say? The clocks automatically reset with the new, I have Apple stuff, so they already do that. They already kind of just do that on their own. Which, it's just really weird. When I lived in Taiwan, people don't change their clocks. Yeah, I know. Judging by the crickets at Biden rallies, you sure wouldn't think Biden would win. Yeah, right? I'm just just like a handful of people. Even, Kamala was in Dallas-Fort Worth, and Biden's not even out there. So why is he, this is the thing, if he is so, it's kind of like he's pulling this whole arrogant thing like Hillary did. Like, Hillary didn't even go to certain places where she should have gone, and she didn't win. So why do they think that Biden just sitting in the basement or hiding out, is going to win over people? You need to go back and talk to people. And it's also a sign that, that he's guilty, because if he's not guilty, then why is he hiding out and not doing public appearances? It's stupid, because all the stuff that they've accused Trump of doing, all the horrible stuff, they've called him a murderer, they've said he's done all this stuff without any evidence, but they've said all this stuff, and he's still out there going to rallies, meeting with people, getting stuff done. He could be hiding out too. Of all the horrible things how the media lies, how he's talking about. The emails have had forensic analysis. There's documentation of Hunter signing, his signature at the computer shop. There have been witnesses that have come out that have been associated, that work with them. There's so many pictures of there's so many. I need to turn my phone over again because all the texts are there's so many pictures of the Bidens meeting with foreign officials, and then there's bank account information showing that the transactions they made were large, but didn't really have any valid purpose as far as their position in politics goes. So it's like you're a foreign official, you're meeting with China, and you're getting money. And you're getting money to introduce people. You're getting this. And the banks have all the information. And some of this information so far has been released to the public, and it's been, you know, it's been deemed to be true by forensic analysis. So that's evidence there. But the left can make all this shit up about Trump and his supporters, and it's all hearsay. But because the media says it, you know, this is the title of today's shows. Our media companies are worse than prostitution, because they're prostituting, you know, they're prostituting the people. They're like pimps, right? They're prostituting the people by lying to them, and you know, to the point where a lot of the people, if they're not aware or they're conscious, they can't really tell the difference between the messenger and the message. They can't tell the difference between, you know, the kind of at the people that are the mercy of the system versus the people that control them. So it's just very frustrating that, I mean, it's frustrating as I need to like go to the thesaurus and find out a harsher word, because I feel like frustrating is an understatement. Infuriating is an understatement. There has to be some word that can encapsulate like how I really feel about what's going on. I feel like I'm redundant using the same words again, but it's just unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. You know, walk away from the media, walk away from, you know, the polls. Their own internal polls said that people don't trust the media. But it's funny, I've talked to people, the same people that they know, and they will say that the media lies. They still believe their lies when it comes to like Trump. So it's like, well, if you know that they lied about this, maybe it's possible that you think that they're lying about that, but you don't want to like believe that you've been lied to that deeply. I think that's what it is, you know. Metis is Biden winning all the toss. Yeah, that's some bullshit. I just don't believe it. You remember how they said that before, and Hillary lost? So I just, you know, people that are still buying into that. I was looking into the comment section, the CNN comment section, and I wonder if those people are thinking like that, or if they're paid comments or whatever. But I know they're just people that are really disillusioned. Because I even know people that are voting for Biden, but they're seeing what's going on, and they still think that Biden is going to lose. But they're like, well, I'm voting for him anyway. I'm like, okay, you know, I don't really, I hope after Trump's reelection, he puts the hammer down and gets some of these corrupt people prosecuted. I think that's the plan, and I think that's why they're so eager to keep him from getting elected. All this evidence is built up. They have all the Hillary evidence. They have all of the, you know, and you know, it's funny with the Hunter Biden situation, before he became the presidential candidate, even the left was actually investigating his relationship, or his son's relationship with China. And he was questioned about it, and he said he didn't know. But then the whole thing with Tony Bobolinsky and the data from the cell phones, and you know, I think there's another witness. They're in jail, so I think that they actually went to jail, and Hunter Biden got off free, and they're pissed, and they want to testify. They're going to testify too. But all these people are associated with them, and they did business with them. So it's not like, you know, they're people that are coming out of the woodworks, like this anonymous Miles guy that, that worked for Trump, that wrote the op-ed. But, you know, all they have is op-ed, so which is basically hearsay. Hearsay. It's all hearsay and gossip. That's what the left is basing their opinions on. Hearsay and gossip. While you know, this situation, you know, they're not going to get away with this. And the more and more people find out, you're going to see how much the media covers for these criminals, these demons from hell. You know, never get notifications for your lives. Yeah, dudes, I'm so frustrated. I'm being super shadow banned. They just took 2,200 of my subscribers away when I was on break. They just took them off. And I'm like, I didn't know I didn't make anybody mad because I wasn't making videos. I know I didn't offend anybody, but yet, you know, boom, I'm like, okay, you know, that's how they do. And I've been at 28,000 since the beginning of this year, and I haven't progressed. So, and I know my other friends are having the same issue. So it's, yeah. Yeah, they never learned from 2016. Well, we were just talking about that yesterday because, if these people, these we put people in office, they're supposed to serve us and serve our interests. So if they're not listening to us and what we want, then who are they serving? Who? Not us. So then that makes them treasonous, right? Because they're not listening to the majority of what people want. That's what our country is based on. Um, yeah, they're not notifying people. You guys got to click the bell. Do you click the bell? I don't tell people to do that. Click the bell to make sure you get the notifications. Um, Mohammed Istaq Hossein. I'm sorry if I messed up your name. Sorry. Um, Biden is an American monster who is responsible for millions of deaths in the Middle East. Biden should receive the death sentence like all other murderers. Yeah. Where are you from, Mohammed? Yeah, the Clintons, the Bushes. I'm going to do a shameless plug for my video / crowdfunding campaign. So I released my crowdfunding. I'm going to tie it back to what you said, basically, Mohammed. But while I'm waiting for your answer, I sent my video out to a bunch of friends and family members. I'm getting mostly really good feedback. I had one friend and one family member get mad at me and say that I was promoting propaganda. But in the video, I have the Bushes in there. Most of the people are leftists in the video, but I did put the Bushes in there. And it's that whole clique, right? Because there are people that were actually before them, but I think most of them are dead that were a part of the elite. But now, you have the Bushes that are alive, then the Clintons and Al Gore and Obama and Biden's. They're all in the same club. They're all in the same club, okay? And they, along with Biden, are responsible for Middle Eastern deaths. Yes, I was thinking about this the other day because I fell for it. And, when I was a bit younger, I would be like, oh God, look at all of these wars that America has instigated. I don't agree with that. I don't condone it. But, getting deeper into it, this is what happens. A lot of people that are young join the American military. Maybe their family was in it. Maybe they're joining because that's the only way that they can get their college paid for. Maybe they're in their situation where they want to get out of a bad neighborhood or they want to travel, and that's the only way that they can travel. So they basically sign up to the military. They give their rights away, all of their rights, okay? And then the media, being the prostitutes that they are, they manipulate fake wars. So, when we invaded the Gulf War, that whole story about the babies in the incubators were pushed. Let me see if I can find that. That would be even great. The babies in the incubators were pushed to get people to go to the Middle East, because from the Americans' point of view, they weren't thinking, oh, let's go and shoot up people in Iraq. They're thinking, oh my God, this guy's an evil monster. Let's go liberate these people from the evil monster. And from what I heard, there were people I knew, a couple people I knew from Iran, and they were like, yeah, Saddam Hussein is a monster. But was he a monster, or was he put there by people, the American globalists, to wreak havoc on their people? So as a person in the military, you're in the military, you're like, okay, let's go get this monster. That's terrible that they're putting babies on the floor, killing babies, okay? Because everybody loves babies, and when you hear about babies getting killed, people freak out. So they go to the Middle East, thinking also that they have wars of mass destruction. Actually, they were saying first that, Bush was like, oh, they have wars of mass destruction, they have weapons of mass destruction, and we got to get out of there. But there wasn't any evidence of that. And, people don't want to go to war. They couldn't get the Americans' support behind it. So what they had to do was like, let me see. Babies and Incubators Democracy. This is when Democracy Now! Was actually legit in my but anyway, Yeah, so they go, sorry, I lost my train of thought. I'm trying to do two things at once. So they go to, that, so they've realized they weren't getting the American support to go to war, right? Because they couldn't provide evidence of Saddam Hussein having weapons of mass destruction. There's also kind of like that arrogance of like, okay, well, why is the U.S. the only country that gets to have nuclear bombs, right? The people that think like that, and I see that point of view too. Um, so they do this, and then they so that wasn't working. So they had to invent some story. The media prostitutes had to invent some story to get the public behind them so they can go to war. And then if you're in the army and you're thinking that you're going to go liberate people, you're going to willingly go. Then you get over there and it's like you're trapped. So you basically have to do the bidding of the people that manipulated you, or A, you'll get court-martialed, you'll get killed, right? B, you won't come back again, right? They'll just kill you, because that's what happened to Pat Tillman. When he joined, he was a football player, if you guys don't know, who joined the army, or was it the army, some branch of military, to go to the Middle East to fight the people that, because he thought like 911 was legitimate and he really wants to serve his country, and then he goes there and he sees that he's been lied to. And they know, and he's talking to all these other people, and they see, he knows now that, the manipulation games, that he's been lied to. And him being a famous football player, if he were to come back to tell the people about the manipulation, through the media, then they would have they would have believed him. So they had to kill him. I'm not saying that he should have been killed, but you look into the story, it was obvious that he was murdered. He didn't die, as a result of the war. They killed him to keep people from knowing the truth about the lies that they push to fund wars. So let me see if I can find this really fast. And let me see. I'm not going to do the whole thing. Okay.
Now, democracynow.org.
Hold on. Let me see if I can pull this up. And I'll play this clip for you for a minute. We're just waiting for a few more people to get on. Nope. All right. Let's do this. All right.
The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman with Juan Gonzalez.
Well, a national day of mourning has been declared following the death of former President George H.W. Bush, who died Friday at the age of 94. The post office and other federal agencies are closed for the day. A funeral service for Bush is being held today at the Washington National Cathedral. Former Presidents Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, Jimmy Carter, and Bush's son, George W. Bush, will attend, as will President Trump, who was not invited to speak. Former Florida Governor Jeb Bush explained why President Trump was not speaking by saying, quote, "It's because we have a unique circumstance here. My brother was president, first dibs," as we used to say. A second funeral will be held on Thursday in Houston, where George H.W. Bush will be buried. Well, we continue now to look back at the legacy of the 41st president. Bush only served one term.
Aspect of Bush's war in Iraq, the vast domestic propaganda campaign that occurred in the United States before the invasion began. The story centers on a young Kuwaiti woman named Nayyirah. On October 10th, 1990, the 15-year-old girl gave riveting testimony before Congress about the horrors inside Kuwait after Iraq invaded.
Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, my name is Nayyirah, and I just came out of Kuwait. My sister, with my 5-day-old nephew, traveled across the desert to safety. There was no milk available for the baby in Kuwait. They barely escaped when their car was stuck in the desert sand, and help came from Saudi Arabia. I stayed behind and wanted to do something for my country. The second week after the invasion, I volunteered at the Al-Adan hospital with 12 other women who wanted to help as well. I was the youngest volunteer. The other women were from 20 to 30 years old. While I was there, I saw the Iraqi soldiers come into the hospital with guns. They took the babies out of the incubators. the incubators and left the children to die on the cold floor. It was horrifying. I could not help but think of my nephew.
Naira's testimony was rebroadcast across the country and marked a turning point in public opinion on going to war. President George H.W. Bush repeatedly cited her claims.
They had kids in incubators, and they were thrown out of the incubators so that Kuwait could be systematically dismantled.
3 months after Naira testified, President George H.W. Bush launched the invasion of Iraq. But it turned out Naira's claims weren't true. No human rights group or news outlet could confirm what she said. It also turned out Naira was not just any Kuwaiti teenager. She was the daughter of the Kuwaiti ambassador to the United States, Saad Nasir al-Sabah. She had been coached by the public relations firm Hill & Knowlton, which was working for the Kuwaiti government. We're joined now by the journalist who first revealed Naira's identity. Rick.
Okay, so ain't that a bitch, right? Ain't that a bitch? How many people are dead because of these lies that the media spread? How many wars have they manipulated? You know, people, I mean, sometimes I go off on how bad social media is, but it's really good too, because now they can't really do stuff like that without, they can't get away from it. I think they tried to, I forgot what happened. It was like something with ABC News, and they tried to start another war, but because of social media, we were able to fight back. And the elites, they hate it. They hate it. But millions of people have died. You know, some of our soldiers died, but, you know, poor people in the Middle East that don't have the technology to, you know, that to match the weapons that we have. You know, there are more people that died. And a lot of these people are, they're what do you call it? Collateral damage. But, you know, I understand why people over there hate us. It's a misunderstanding in the sense that, like, you know, we went over there, you know, Americans go over there and think they're trying to help. They're doing stuff. They're manipulated into going. They have to fight. You know, we're pitted against each other to fight each other. And then, you know, it's really no coincidence, too, a lot of the soldiers that go to war, how they have such a high suicide rate. I mean, it's just like, you know, the whole program is like, it's meant to, you know, we're manipulated to fight, and then we as the American soldiers come back, and then we self-destruct, because once the American soldiers wake up and they realize how much they've been manipulated, they get mad and they want to strike out back at the elite. But by that time, they're either really sick because of all the vaccines they took, or they're mentally ill, or they have PTSD. I mean, these people are fucking demons from hell. I hate them so much. So anyway, okay, so plug in my stuff. I got a lot of, hey guys, is it Sunday? Good, yeah, good, happy Sunday. So yeah, they're horrible, horrible, horrible people. I wonder, you know, I mean, these people now at the point, the people that are spreading the lies in the media, they know what they're doing because they're getting orders to do. They know, if they've gone to journalism school, they should know what the difference between honest journalism and taking marching orders from people at the top. All the journalists do now is they read teleprompters, okay? So anyway, Oh, here is my crowdfunding campaign at the top. Actually, I forgot, for you, those of you who have not seen my amazing music video, I'm raising money to fund an album and a film project, to talk about what's going on in the world in ways through art. I'm going to use this money that I raise to pay other artists and other people, so it's going to support other people. If you go to the top where it says, if you can see where the crowdfunding campaign is here in the blue, the link is right here, and you can go if you'd like to donate anywhere from $5 to $1,000, and you'll get a perk for each donation that you make. Here's what it looks, oh, wait, is this it? Oh yeah, here's what it looks like. I got 3 backers, yeah, right? I give an explanation of the, of why I'm doing what I'm doing. I give a breakdown of the distribution of funds, how many people we would need to donate. If we got $5 donations, we would need 47,417. $10 donations, 23,708. $20 donations, 11,854. $100 each, 2,370 people. $500, 474. $1,000, and we need 237 people. So, your first perk, if you give us $5, you get a download of the single. This amazing, I don't know if I can, this artwork, you'll get a digital copy of this artwork, which I'll probably do more videos talking about it here. If $20, which I think most people, I'm hoping, would get, if you did, when the album is done at the end of next year, if you donate $20, you'll get a digital download of the album. And then of course every perk adds on. So if you say you donate $20, you'll get a download of the single, you'll get the artwork, you'll get the album, right? So every perk builds on itself. So $50, I'm gonna make a handwritten booklet of all the lyrics to the album, and you'll get that, and that's with $50. But then you'll get all the other perks on top of that. And then, you know, $100, you'll get this artwork with the black sheep, a digital copy. I'm trying to do mostly digital stuff, because I've read horror stories about people doing like crowdfunding campaigns, and then they lose more than half of their money with all the shipping costs. And I also have to pay the processing fee. So every time people donate, if they donate outside the country, I have to pay the fees on top of that. So I have to calculate the processing fees in addition to the fee that Indiegogo charges once you, because Indiegogo charges a fee too. So time-lapse filming of these art, I have the artist doing the time-lapse photography. You'll get the films of that at $300. Behind-the-scenes footage, because we're going to document the making of so you're going to get that. And then $1,000, you get an autographed vinyl album. If you donate less than that, you just have to buy the album. But I'm going to do vinyl, and the vinyl is going to have a lot of artwork in it, and it's also, the album itself is going to be like artwork. So anyway, yeah, so please join. You can also join. I got a new email list if you guys would like to join to get updates on everything. You can watch the video here if you haven't watched it here, or you can watch it in the links in this description. And it's about the media and how much they like. This is the website. Just go. You can get a little bit more information about the crowdfunding campaign and about the band, and if you want to contact, okay? And then also, if you're not on my Truth or Talk email list, I'm going to be sending you guys that already subscribe to the Truth or Talk list. Truth or Talk list, I'm going to be sending out an email within this week talking about the crowdfunding campaign. But I also would like for you to join this email list too. And I also have a store here where you can shop and you can get t-shirts. I'm also selling the Conspiracy Realist t-shirt here. In this one, I actually have a crop top for girls, and the shirt here is unisex. And then you can buy physical copies of the artwork. They're pretty big, ranging from 14 by 14 to 18 by 24. So, all right, y'all, that is my pluggy plug. If there's anybody that wants to interview me for their channel, wait. Yeah, okay. If there's anybody that wants to interview me for their channel, please let me know. I'm willing to do it. Since I've been promoting this, it's going to be a 45-day campaign, and it's going to be a full-time job, because I realize that, people don't know. I realized I sent the video out to the rest of my friends, and they loved it. Like, oh my God, this is amazing, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, oh yeah, I don't think I was really specific about this being a it's attached to a crowdfunding campaign either. This is going to be my new business that I'm going to do. So I really appreciate your support. The link is at the top of the chat if you would like to donate. I mean, the lowest is $5, but I will appreciate that. I know people are kind of stressed. It's weird. I see some people are stressed for money, and then other people are thriving, because I see other people that have super chats and they're just getting money left and right. I'm like, damn, I can't do super chats because I'm demonetized. My whole channel is demonetized. So anytime I'm doing a video, I ain't making nothing. Okay, just so you know, I ain't making nothing. So I have a PayPal, but I'd rather, if you wanted to give money, I'd rather you donate to the crowdfunding campaign, because this is really where I'm trying to raise money. So this whole 45 days, I'm going to be raising money for this campaign, for my campaign. And if you guys have any ideas on how to help, in addition to donating, but if you have any ideas of how to, like, if people shows that I can be on, if you've had crowdfunding experience and you can give me advice on how to get more people to donate and get my project out there, I would really appreciate it. You can email me at info@truthertalk.com. Okay. Yeah, so I'm going back off of the comments after 3 backers. Yeah, man, it's the first day, so yeah, 3 backers, man. You got to start somewhere, right? So I don't care. 3 backers, that's better than no backers, right? You gotta start somewhere, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful for anybody that donates anything or gives me any advice. So. Can't even get mad at that. All right, so are you guys ready to call? You gonna call me today? 512-481-7464. 512-481-7464. Right, I know the only real truth we get is from channels like this individual. I know, but that's what inspires me, because we are the media. The people are the media. It's us, and the media is supposed to be the fourth estate. The media is supposed to be the go-between, it should be the entity that keeps the higher ups honest. But now, because it's been controlled by the higher ups, the common folk, the people at the bottom, we're not really, at the bottom of if you think of it as a triangle, the people at the bottom have to, are the ones that, hold on one second, let me finish this out. The people at the bottoms are the ones that, hello, hey, people at the bottom are the ones that, hey, what, I was just trying to finish my thought. Hello, go one second. I was like, the people at the bottom are the ones that are going to save things, because we're the media, the people of the media. Anyway, hello. Sorry, I was trying to finish my thought, but I didn't want your call to hang up. So who is this? What's your name?
It's O.
Oh?
Yeah.
Hey, what's up? How you doing? Long time no talk. Let me get my other. So what's on your mind today? Are you tired of these media prostitutes?
Yeah. That's like what you said earlier about treason.
Mm-hmm.
What they've done really is treason.
Yeah,
For years they've undermined the will of the American people. Like right now with this whole quote unquote pandemic, if they weren't covering it, shit would just be normal like it usually is.
Mm-hmm.
They've torn communities apart. They played a hand in people committing suicide.
Yeah.
And people losing their businesses.
Mm-hmm.
They've made, I'm voting for Trump, but they turned him into like some kind of like messiah figure.
Mm-hmm.
To where because they're the ones constantly attacking him.
Yeah.
And for any rational person, for any rational fair person, you just be like, wow, what they're doing is not fair and it's wrong. So they kind of made him into a sympathetic figure.
Mm-hmm.
When he's just a person. I mean, he's not perfect. I'm sure he has some dirt and all this stuff like that. But
for sure, he's just a dude. Yeah.
What they've done, is very evil. But it does prove one thing. For all the people that says voting doesn't matter,
mm-hmm.
if the people's opinion didn't matter, why would they go through so much to manipulate the opinion of the people?
Yeah.
So
Very good point.
it's showing me that your opinion matters. And even just the school system, how they these wicked ideologies that infiltrate the school system, and that how they manipulate the way people think. I don't know. I just think there is definitely evil hand manipulating both sides. It's like, I've seen a lot of quote unquote conservative channels, blocked, but then I've seen some big conservative channels like grow, and then somebody, you got your channel shadow banned, another handful of people that I watch, they were shadow banned too, but they're not talking about abstract issues, they're talking about concrete issues. I wish somebody would have asked the president in his debate about a vaccine mandate, and is that in his plan?
Yeah,
I
for
wish
sure.
somebody would have asked that, because that shit is really important.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
I don't know. I wish everybody would just turn the TV on, just stop listening to news. These people need us to listen to them. That's what empowers them. They need us to fight with each other. That gives them validation that what they're doing is working. And I'm really I'm kind of sick of it. I'm the only one in my family that probably thinks the way I think. Everybody thinks I'm a conspiracy theorist. I tell them, for some of the things that I tell them, I'm like, look, this is law. It's in the books. I'll tell them about the California law, about the 10-year difference with with children, and the consent, the age of consent, and all that.
Yeah.
And then my family members are telling me, well, that's just conspiracy. I'm like, it's on the website. It's on the California GOV website. It'll tell you all these things. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they don't want to look. People are lazy. This is what I've learned on my journey. People are lazy. A lot of people want to be told what to think. They don't want to as grueling as it was when I first started the stream today. I actually went and I had to look at some CNN stuff. Because you have to look at the other side to compare. That's where you get your analysis from. You don't just listen to one side and you have to look at both sides and see. Like, I don't even agree with everything that Fox News says. But it's annoying because people are just like, oh, well, you must like Fox. I was like, I like some people on Fox. I you know what I mean? But I'm not like, oh, Fox News is the truth, or this news outlet is the truth. You got to kind of go and you read between the lines and you got to compare. So, like, I was talking about CNN, and they were talking about how Biden is in the lead and how, but then I go and I actually look at all the Trump rallies, and then I compare to the Biden rallies, and then I also know that they lied through their ass last time. And I also know that they have an agenda. They're not for the people, and they're trying to basically, as the dude from Sky News Australia said, they're trying to basically crush our spirit through lying about these polls. And if you look at it from a spiritual standpoint, what they really are doing is trying to harvest our energy, right? So the more people they get to believe them, whatever side, right? Whatever side you're pointing toward, you're going toward, the more people you want to believe, the more people you want, the more people that, what I'm trying to say, that believes you or focuses their energy on you, the more power you have. So they're losing their power and they're freaking out, which they should. They don't deserve it. They haven't earned it. They've lost it. They've lost our trust. But it's so weird, because the same people I've talked to too, they even know that the media lies and they don't trust the media, but then they'll still trust the lies about what's going on with the Trump administration or their supporters,
Yeah, and I don't know what's gonna take, what it's gonna take for people to wake up, especially like. I don't like being racial and all that shit, because I got my opinions on race, but I don't know what it's going to take for black folks. I see a lot of black folks waking up, but I see a lot of black folks still asleep.
Yeah.
And just the whole liberal agenda is destructive. two black people. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
it's like they're saying Black Lives Matter, but you know they're intentionally putting a wedge between the black man and the black woman. So now there can be no procreation. So you know, in turn, the numbers are stagnant. You know, the black population is not growing; it's stagnant.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know. It's
And on
just
top of that, it's a gang violence. We're killing each other, you know,
we killing each other, and then you add in the food.
and the vaccines.
You know, you add in the you know, it's
Yeah,
just I don't know, but people really need to take a hard look inside and ask themselves why they believe what they believe. You know, because everything I believed, you know, I had to put it to the test. You know,
Exactly.
to really just say, okay, I'm on solid ground, because all of the shit that I learned in high school, you know, I had to unlearn all of that. You
Right.
know, it's I mean, I'm just like I'm looking at my life. I'm like, I spent 12 years in the public school system, 5 years in undergrad. What did I learn? I didn't learn a damn thing. You know,
Yeah.
so I don't know, but yeah. So I don't mean to ramble. I just wanted to
Oh, sweetie,
come
you're
in
not
and
rambling.
drop my 2 pennies.
You're not rambling. You're on point. Everybody loves it when you call in too. They're always like, this dude's on point, blah, blah, blah. So no, well, actually not in this chat, but nobody happens, but usually, I don't think you're rambling at all. And it's just so, you know, I hate to break it to you. I don't think everybody's going to wake up, you know, but I think enough people are going to wake up to turn things in our favor. You know,
Yeah,
because
I agree.
it's about a lot of people's too pride and ego. Because when you said that you
Yes.
had to put what you knew to the test, that's the same journey I've gone through, and it's taken a while. Like, you know, this is the thing that's frustrating. I would say we're on a time crunch because we need people to wake up like now, like all the way awake, not just a little bit awake. But it's taken me a while to change my views. It's taken me like, you know, even in this, with this pandemic and this election, you know, as me and my friend, we were talking, and you know, she was saying and I was saying, we both were saying that we felt like we reached a whole new level of wokeness, so to speak, because you know, there are just other things that too that we had to, you know, reevaluate and think about. And you know, if we're on this side, if we used to be on like the other side, meaning being a Democrat, or you know, meaning thinking we knew that the media had our best interest in mind, we really had to reevaluate what we were taught in order to get where we are now. And that's really hard for people, you know. And I think eventually it's gonna come to a head. I think Tuesday is gonna come to a head. I think it's coming to a head, and I think a lot of people are gonna have to they're gonna have to you know, like we've gone down the rabbit hole slowly, but I think there's some people that they're gonna fall all the way down the rabbit hole, and it's gonna be devastating for them. It's gonna be devastating.
Well,
You know?
I mean, that's fine. You know, some people are going to perish in the process, but
Yeah.
you know, I guess it's a cleansing process. I mean, and I don't know what your spiritual background is, but you know, like in the Bible, you know, this you know, what's going on has been documented in the Bible. You know, where
Yeah.
you know, there's been a concerted attempt by wicked forces to overthrow, you know, the righteous, and you know, and people had to die. Some people, you know, a lot of people died in the process, you know, because you just weren't on the right side. So
Yeah, and
I don't know, you know, whatever. I'm at the point. I think Trump's gonna win. I just, you know,
I think he's gonna win
I
big.
just,
I think he's gonna win big.
you know, I think he's gonna win. He should win by landslide. He should win California. You know, given how they turned the beautiful state into a shithole, he should win California, but he probably won't.
You know,
Texas,
you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if he won California, and I think
I will be surprised if he wins.
I mean,
California.
I will. I guess I don't know. I know, especially since this pandemic, and especially since Newsom. Are you? Yeah, Gavin Newsom and how he treated like a lot of people in California are pissed. and
Yeah, but
they're trying to like outthrow him. So I think because of that, it's opened people's eyes, and they're probably starting to literally see red, but also see red. Or Gavin Newsom's wineries were allowed to be open while everybody else's businesses and wineries had to close. People are taking note of that. I guess I should say I will be surprised if California wins, but I guess it would be a surprise. But I also see that a lot of people, just from people that I've talked to in California, things I see in California, there are more people that are, if California is totally blue, they're also doing a lot of illegal, stuff with a lot of immigrants. Those are one of the states. All the states that are closest to Mexico, it's easier to kind of like manipulate the vote through illegal votes.
Yeah, gotcha. And also Texans, all these red-blooded Texans that lose their guns, they need to take notice of what's going on too, because Texas almost voted in Beta against the war or whatever.
Yeah, but that was because that was illegal voting. That was, even Project Veritas around the time they got caught. I don't know what happened to the people, but there were actually people in Beto O'Rourke's campaign talking about how they were picking people up around the border and giving them rights to go vote and stuff like that. And wow. It was like, and I remember watching it, and I was like, oh no, I'm going to die if Beto wins. I'm going to die. And he barely won. But I don't think, the only parts really of Texas that seem to be blue are like Austin and San Antonio. Where are you? Are you in
Dallas is blue. Dallas?
I
grew up in the Dallas area. Dallas is blue.
Okay, so Dallas.
And Houston is blue.
Houston, Austin. But there are a lot, but
all
Texas.
All the major metropolitan areas are blue. Okay. And that's not a good thing.
Yeah. But I don't know. We'll see. I don't think it's going to turn all of Texas blue. And I think a lot of people are coming out to vote like they haven't voted before. The Amish are coming out to vote.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that.
And
people that are voting that have never voted before. There are people that are coming out to vote. And I don't think that Texas is going to turn blue. Maybe I'm wishful thinking. I don't know. I'm just a little bit too delusional. Maybe I'm delusional. I have a lot of optimism about what's gonna, as far as him winning. Now, what happens afterwards? I don't know. Like, a riot's gonna happen? Probably.
Well, that's fine. We live in Texas, so we keep our guns. Somebody run up, they get levitated.
Yeah,
that'd be that.
The only thing I'm really kind of worried about is when Trump wins and they release the sleeper cells and all these rioters, that a lot of these kids that have been brainwashed into Antifa are going to get killed and hurt, or go to jail.
I get it.
I used to be a teacher, so I'm thinking of people a lot of these kids are at some of the age of my students and used to be. So that's kind of like where my head is at. And I'm like, but in a sense, they deserve it too. I'm not saying that, nothing should happen to them. But it's just unfortunate that this is a path that their life has taken because of fucking media and their, manipulation of people.
Yeah.
This is how deep the media manipulation goes. They're spreading stories and making people afraid that, white supremacy has taken over the country and that their lives are in danger. So you're a kid and you join these organizations because you think that you're doing something right. You think that you're on the right side of history, but you join these violent organizations that are just as bad as like the skinheads or the Ku Klux Klan. And then you're going to go out there, fighting white supremacists, quote unquote. Yet you're going to get, your life's going to be destroyed. Because no matter what side you're on, if you're promoting hate, it always ends dark. You end up becoming the thing that you end up fighting.
Yeah, and a lot of these leaders of these, Antifa, they're CIA agents. That all that whole daily
the top ones are. The top ones are. They know what they're doing. The top ones are. But they recruit. But I'm saying, but they recruit these kids that whose frontal lobes haven't even developed. Millie Weaver did a really good story a couple months ago talking about how they basically have programs in place where they're really recruiting kids at junior high age. You know, they'll do stuff, oh, like this is the Sunshine program. And then they start changing their psychology then. So by the time they get to be like in college and stuff, they're already like radicalized. And then they join the groups where they can go out and fight. It's fucking sick. It's sick.
Yeah.
You know, and I think about it, I probably would have been one of those kids, you know, had I not known better.
Yeah.
Because I'm really like, I have a, I like justice, and that's just kind of like part of my personality. And if you're brainwashing kids and telling them about, you know, injustices, and, you know, you can make a difference, and you really get them to believe this and stuff, by the time they're old enough to do something about it, they're going to try and do something about it, or they're going to think they're going to do something about it. I don't know. But anyway, anything else? Yeah. What else do you want to say? I'm gonna try and take another call in a minute. What else is on your mind?
That's pretty much all I had. Just the treasonous media, and, you know, I think people should just start watching them, start giving them that satisfaction.
Yeah.
And then the educational system.
Yeah.
You know, people are not critical thinkers. Like these masks, people don't even understand. People think the masks keep you from getting, you know, something. The mask, the theory behind the mask is that they keep you from giving something. And, you know, and with that, that's even dangerous, because now they're saying that, you know, they're making up these words. You know, they're saying that a person that's healthy could possibly affect somebody. I mean, I got kicked out of a restaurant the other day because I wear the mask in the restaurant just so they won't fuck with me. But when they ask me what I want, I kind of like pull the mask down. So I don't want to be speaking into the mask.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know, that's like reusing the snot rag.
Yeah, right.
You know,
exactly.
And then the tough guy behind the counter was saying you need to pull out, you need to leave your mask on, and, you know, then he said I don't want you to make me sick. I'm like, I'm not sick. And, you know, he said, I'm not tripping. I'm like, you are tripping. I got out of character because, you know, I'm not a combative dude.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I told him, I told him, you're not a man. I was like, he's like, I'm sorry. I'm like, yeah, you are sorry. I was just hot.
Yeah.
You know,
I know. It gets to you. And I think a lot of people are starting to realize COVID is a hoax, but they're still complying with the mask thing because they don't want to, like, be bothered, you know?
Yeah,
they don't want to have to go and like fight. But yeah, there are people. I'm like, and the idiocracy is so infuriating. You just want to slap people. You know, you really do, because you're just like, are you really believing this shit? Are you really believing this shit? Like, for really, you believe that you're a doctor and you believe that this mask is gonna, you know? Yeah, I went to the store not too long ago, and I was talking. I didn't have a mask on, and the lady had a mask on, and she would like start backing up. You know, she was doing promos in the store. She started backing up, and she was just like, you know, she just started backing up and was like, oh, you know, you're going to get me sick. I was like, you're an idiot, dude. I mean, I didn't call her idiot. I called her sheep, though. And that's not, you know, I didn't, you know, she was an older lady. But she, like, I mean, we got into it. She pushed me to that point. I was just like, you know what? And she was like, my daughter works in the hospital. I was like, I worked in the hospital. What? And this whole idea, too, that, you know, that everybody in the medical profession has the same opinion is just, like, ridiculous.
It's stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, well, like, my sister's a doctor. I'm like, so? My sister's a doctor. Yeah, you know,
And honestly, I can care less if somebody was a doctor. A lot of doctors don't know shit. Look at the overall health of the population.
Well, you know that the doctors kill
the population.
Oh, tell me.
So why do doctors just have to use final word?
Dude, doctors are like they're people, right? And actually, they actually kill more people than coronavirus. The medical industry is the third leading cause of death. You know that, though. I'm saying that for the people that are watching. But they're the third leading cause of death. So it's like, what, you know, like, really, dude, like, why aren't we marching in the streets for that, for reform, for healthcare reform? Because doctors are the third leading cause of death. You know?
Yeah. It's people's compliance to the whole doctrine and ideology.
Yeah, it's a religion. It's a religion. Exactly.
You know, that's why people are saying, oh, they're going to take away our health care. I'm like, your health care sucks anyway.
Yeah, I know,
Your
I
health
know.
care, doesn't do anything for you.
I know. It's so funny. I laugh at that too because I'm like, that's not even concerning me. All we really need hospitals for are accidents. If people were really honest, if they put programs in place to help people lose weight and I'm not even saying just via diet. I'm talking about hormone. Like there's a lot of stuff they have to get honest about. They have to talk about the hormones in the food. They have to talk about birth control, all these hormonal imbalances. Because there are people that are like, oh, I've tried to lose weight and it's hard. And I believe that. I'm not saying those people are lying, but I also know that a lot of people don't understand hormonal shit. And they're like, they go on these diets and they try to lose weight. They have a hard time, but they're like doing birth control, or they're eating foods with hormones in it, or they haven't detoxed their body from xenoestrogens or hormones. And that's a huge factor as to why people, but they're not going to be, they got to be honest about that. They can't just be like, oh, do like a diet or blah, blah, blah. Like the people that are morbidly obese need serious support. And then once people understand how their bodies work, they understand how health works, then we're not going to have all these autoimmune issues. People understand how evil and horrible vaccines are, how many autoimmune issues that they cause, then we're not going to have all these health issues, the EMF waves, we got to be honest about a lot of stuff to get to that point. But then we only really need hospitals for, car accidents, shootings, stabbings, broken bones, emergencies, just stuff like that. Yeah, nobody that I get frustrated because no politician ever, nobody in government ever has actually come up with a healthcare solution that I like. I guess the best next thing that can probably be more feasible is to just have a free market health system where we can have healthcare that allows us to get any kind of healthcare we want,
Yeah, I agree. And but that goes back to the indoctrination that happened years ago with the whole Rockefeller, takeover of the healthcare industry. So
yeah, and the media again. Since we're this topic all this week is going to be about the media, right? So the media is pushing it because you know what? They're being funded by these asshole pharmaceutical corporations. They're their main funders.
True.
So what are they going to tell the truth on them? No, So anyway,
people just have to people have to get out of this slumber and really start taking over their own well-being and stop delegating that to the state and to the media.
Exactly.
Because they've shown, it's pretty evident that they failed. So people just need to swallow their pride and accept that they've been lied to. Just be an adult and just adapt.
Well, the thing is too, I feel that this virus is good for a lot of people too because it's something they don't have to take responsibility for their health, so they can just be like, oh, I got sick because of the virus. No, it's because you're 500 pounds. Because you're walking around the supermarket with Pop-Tarts and soda in your basket and you're 500 pounds. That's why you're sick, not because of the virus. And on top of that, you're constantly wearing the mask. So that's why you're sick.
And on top of that, you got a shitty attitude.
Yeah, you're right.
You have a skewed perception of life, so you're always stressed.
Yes, you're 100% right. You're 100% right. See, this lady says the caller is 100% correct. So you're not rambling. You always get, every time you call in, you always get really good comments. So, but let me let you go though, so I can get some other callers in. So I'm only be on for like another hour. I do about a couple hours a day though. If you want to call back, you have some more insights tomorrow, you're welcome to. But I want to get to some more people. All right, and stay safe out there. It's getting crazy, so yeah.
All right. You have a blessed day.
You too.
Everybody in the chat, y'all be blessed.
All right, thank you. I'm sure they appreciate it. All right. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
Bye. All right, guys. 512-481-7464. 512-481-7464. Somebody else is calling. Okay, wait, hold on. Sid, come on. All right. Hello. Hola. Hey, who's this?
Hello.
Who this be?
This is Law Dog again.
Oh, what's up, Law Dog? That sounds like a vigilante's name. That sounds like That sounds like some dude, like you're like a kingpin or some shit, you know? Like, oh shit, Log Dog got the shit. You know, like don't mess with
Because I
Log
lay down
Dog.
the law, dog.
Huh? Huh?
Because I lay down the law. I lay down the
Yeah,
law,
you
dog.
lay down a lot like a dog. You know, like. So what's up? What's going
Right.
on?
So, well, I wanted to touch on what that last caller was saying with the healthcare industry, and then kind of bring it back to the media, because we have the greatest accident and sickness care as far as, like, if I get in a car accident, man, send me to the hospital. That's
Yeah,
great.
don't send me to
But-
Babaluka, the medicine woman, right? Send me to the hospital for sure.
Right, but the medical association knows nothing about health.
No,
Um,
nothing. No,
So
not
a
even
little-
like a little bit.
right.
Like they do the opposite of what they're supposed to do. Like I wouldn't trust them. I'm sorry. You know how I feel. Go on.
Oh yeah, and so I've been in the holistic health realm and looked into that, and it's helped me big time.
Yeah.
And what people need to understand is the history is little history lesson. Back in 1910, John D. Rockefeller got together with Andrew Carnegie, and they were trying to corner the chemical market, and basically take over pharmaceuticals and make that the thing so they could profit. So they paid for a study that was trying to, quote, find the best medical schools in the country. So
Yeah.
all the schools that were teaching only pharmaceuticals got the best scores, and then any ones that were teaching anything else, like nutrition, chiropractic, naturopathy, anything natural, homeopathy, all got put out of business basically overnight.
Yeah.
And so that's all we've been fed since 1910 is that there's a drug for everything. That drug is going to fix your problem. So I say, if drugs are the answer, wouldn't the healthiest people be on drugs?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the reason that the media is complicit is they have, I think the United States is only one of two countries that is allowed to advertise pharmaceuticals drugs on television. And the media, or they spend $1 billion in advertising a month to convince us that this is the only way. And so the pharmaceutical companies have a say on TV shows and advertising. They can rewrite TV scripts if they do not like the script.
Yes.
They have that power because
Yes.
they have two lobbyists for every single congressperson in government. And, so everything outside of the ordinary is thrown to the side. Oh, that's just quackery. The rice machine to help with cancer. Like, oh, that can't work because that's not something that we've approved of. Anything like
Totally.
that.
Yeah, and that infuriates me too. The people that really need sickness, that are really sick, that need help, they just come and obliterate any hope for them because it's not their cure,
Exactly. And we've been fighting the war on cancer for how many years and spending billions of dollars, and their only solution is poison, burn, and poison.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've got a friend personally who's using a rice machine, doing nutrition holistically, and they had done everything else before and the regular route, but this is the stuff that's finally helping them. And
how much are rice machines?
most people, it depends. I know the model that they're using because I knew that the technology existed. I just didn't know which ones to trust. So I can't remember the name of the model right now. I can email you later. But I want to say it's $2,000.
Oh, that's not that bad.
No,
not
but
that I
it's
have
all kinds of things. I've heard all
$2,000.
kinds of great stories from the office that's using it.
Yeah, not that I have $2,000 to drop, but I thought they'd be like $20,000. You know what I mean? Like that was like a car or something like that.
Exactly.
So, but that is, yeah. Do you know Amanda Vollmer? Do you follow her? Yum Naturals. Yummy Mummy used
No, I
to
do
now
not.
Yum Naturals. So she's a friend of mine. She has a great channel. She's a naturopath, and she's just phenomenally intelligent. And she uses the rife machines, and on some of her clients. And I've just heard amazing stories about it. And I'm just curious. I love medicine, but I don't like the mainstream medicine stuff for health.
Right.
Like you said, emergencies are great. And in shameless plug, in my Conspiracy Realist course, I actually have a module on medicine and science, and I talk about the Rockefeller Carnegie takeover and I add some clips talking about that and breaking that down. So it's cool that you know that,
Oh, cool.
you know. Oh, and just wait, hold it 1 second. Since I mentioned that up, the course, I still have 4 more modules to write. I'm still gonna leave it at $40 until I finish the modules, which will maybe be another month. But anyway, so yeah, so go on. So I mentioned that, and yes, this has been done intentionally, you know, to keep, because you know we
Right.
have to be kept sick and ignorant. People understood and knew about viruses, and they knew about pleomorphism, and they knew about Béchamp, and you know the terrain theory. There have been no way that they've been able to pull this coronavirus shit, because people were just like, oh yeah, it doesn't work like that, you know. But because A, people are ignorant. B, there's so many virus movies or like zombie movies where about viruses, you know, people that are ingrained in people's heads via the media again. You know, this is another way that the media works. People think this shit is real, you know. Even though they don't see
Yeah.
people dead, dying in the streets, they don't make the connection. Like, okay, where are the homeless people? You know, they're not dying, right? It would have killed the homeless people if it was just this rogue virus that was out everywhere. Why isn't the homeless population all over the world just dead and dying in the street like the stands? You know.
Yeah, because they want you to think that you have no control over this thing, that there's nothing you can do, and that you're a victim. That if you're going to get it, you're going to get it. And people don't even take a step back to say, wait a minute, the size of the holes in your mask are 40 times bigger than the size of a virus. And you know, somebody said it's like trying to stop a mosquito with a chain link fence.
Yeah, totally. It's like, people don't do math. People don't even know. You know the same thing with viruses for HIV too. The holes in the condom are bigger. Like the holes in the condoms can stop like sperm. They can stop bacteria. I'm not saying that condoms don't work, but when it comes to viruses, the viruses just slip right through. So
Yeah,
you can't stop a viral
and
infection
I go
with a
back
condom.
as far as the media and what they've done. I'm with a lot of conspiracy theories. You know, the ones that are real, obviously.
Yeah.
It's a joke, but I look at more of like the socio-political government, like follow the money because
because that's stuff you can prove. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not on board with like David Icke stuff, you know, quite yet.
Really? Really? Like why? He says basically. What when he talks about the reptilian stuff? Is that why? Because I think you can probably
alien overlords and you know that kind of thing. I'm not there yet, but
I am.
I focus on things that we can you know.
This is how I deal with David
find
Icke.
everything.
I say that it's possible because it seems like, okay, say they are aliens, but you know it doesn't really matter if they're aliens, because if they were good aliens it wouldn't matter, right? If they were curing cancer and stopping wars and fixing our problems, it wouldn't matter if they were aliens or humans. But they're just bad. They're bad people. But I think that, you know, even the people that we see as identify with as humans, the people that we see, the elites that we see as humans, they're acting inhumanely, right? They've lost their humanity. They don't care about human beings, and that's the thing. I don't think that I mean, you have to get deeper into himself. I'm definitely open, and the more I've gone down, I think that I'm not close to it, but if you get into his stuff where because he travels around too, and he interviews a lot of shaman, and he's also a historian. So if you see some of his interviews with some of the shamans and then some of the historians where people have talked about that they think, you know, anyway, I don't want to like go too much on a tangent, but to me, I can see it's something that you can't really prove, but you can see the logic behind it. And once you kind of go down that route, it doesn't seem so crazy and far-fetched. But anything else?
Hey, it's 2020. I'm open to everything at this point.
Yeah. But I'm just saying. But I can see. You know, it's so funny. I don't know if you remember this, but years ago, I mean, I watched when I used to watch it. I don't watch Infowars really now, but when I used to watch it, you know, I was started around 2010, and Alex Jones used to talk shit about David Icke, and he was like, yeah, you know, I like most of David Icke's stuff, but when he starts talking about the reptilian stuff, it's like a turd in a punch bowl. And I was like, dang, that's messed up. But a few years later, he actually had David Icke on his show and apologized, because he's just like, you know what? The more I research and the more I experience, I think that there might be some truth to that. You know, if you talk about, I'm thinking like the reptilians are maybe kind of like symbolic of like the Satanism or satanic stuff. If you go down, if you're there where you,
if you're looking at it from a biblical perspective,
Yeah,
like
because-
angels versus demons and that.
yeah,
kind of thing.
like that. You know what I mean? So you can look at it like that, but there's so many cultures that have these reptilian-like figures that represent demons in their culture. That's why I was like, if you get into where he's interviewed, there's this one interview that I watched years ago when I remember I saw it. It was like 4 or 5 hours long, and I was like, oh, it's so long, but I'm gonna watch like a little bit of it, and then I'll watch a little bit of it each day. I can't possibly watch this in one sitting. I did not sleep. It was so fascinating. I sat up and I watched the whole interview. It was with this guy named Credo Matua, who was a shaman, and they're just chilling in Africa, sitting in the bush, and he's just interviewing him like with the VHS tape. But it's so intriguing, and I don't think that we're the only intelligent life. I've always been open to that, and that doesn't freak me. I think that freaks some people out to think that there's other intelligent life, on Earth or in whatever we live in the Matrix or whatever. I don't know. You said you're open. I'm just saying where I stand with that. I know it seems far-fetched, but I'm saying I've been able to see some logic in how he ties that all together. And I think a lot of people accuse him of trying to be like a gatekeeper because he brings the reptilian stuff up, but I really don't. I think he's real. I don't really yeah, what am I trying to say? I think he's real. I don't think he's full of shit. But yeah, I mean, if you have time,
I'm on board with him with the government stuff. Because
because all the others.
Think that
Go on.
I used to think Alex Jones was a total nut job until I found out he was been calling out Jeffrey Epstein for 10 years before anybody else.
Oh, dude, he was calling out the Bushes. Like, you gotta watch like old AJ, like back in the day AJ. And they had a lot of good reporters there. They had like they had Melissa Melton and Aaron and who else? Jakari and Leanne and like John Bound, like all the OG journalists, like they were all really good, and they all went really deep in their research and stuff. They were really good reporters, and they all, there's a lot of stuff going on there, I think, especially since this election. They've gone through a lot of stuff. They've been attacked a lot, so a lot of them left. I don't know what the deal is. They have different reasons. But back in the day, like Alex Jones, he had really great interviews, and he didn't seem as zany as he is now. He wasn't as like, people show clips of him and he's yelling and screaming and stuff. It seems like that's kind of like escalated through the years. But, he
right, and that's the show side.
He's trying to
get attention.
But that's kind of like become a shtick now. But back in the day, he wasn't really like that as much. And he did. You ever seen that Aaron Russo interview?
No.
Oh, you got to hang up and watch it today.
Okay.
Type in like Aaron Russo Infowars. So, like, long story short, and then I guess I got to take another caller. Aaron Russo was this Hollywood producer in the 80s. And he owned nightclubs and stuff, and he kind of goes through his own experience about waking up. He talks about how when he owned a nightclub and how he was being successful, and then how the mafia came over and basically told them that they were going to do a raid like every few months, and if they just paid him money, then they'll leave him alone, but if they didn't, then they were going to raid him and shut him down. And he was just like, dude, that just blew my mind because I didn't know that there was corruption like that, And then as he gets older, he's still successful as a Hollywood producer and stuff, and he became some money. So he starts getting into, like the more money you make, then you have access to inner circle. So he was like, yeah, I start hanging out with David Rockefeller. This is like in the 90s, and he's talking about the chip before it was even out yet. And he was talking about how they wanted to do the chip on people. And back then, people were like, "Oh, that's stupid, that's that." But now look where we are, So.
Well, yeah. I mean, our phones listen to us. Our Apple Watches are recording everything that our bodies are doing. They always want to know and have, the Big Brother is real.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'll say one more thing so you can take your next caller. But when I look at it, as far as what we're being told in the media and the propaganda, I tell everybody to just simple Google search 45 communist goals. And it talks about how the Communist Party, when the Cold War started, knew that they could not take us on militarily. So they hatched a plan to infiltrate the schools, the government, the media, all these places. And if you look at what, higher education in the college, you'll see exactly what's happening today is what their plan is coming to fruition here 50, 60, 70 years later.
They had to do it psychologically and by stealth, for sure.
Yeah. And that's where you get these Antifa dweebs, I call them.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I was saying I feel bad about the kids, because I know that they're brainwashed. There's a certain part of me that feels bad.
Well, they don't know history.
Yeah.
They're trying to fight fascism with fascism.
Yeah, I know. They're retarded.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. Thanks for calling. Okay, next caller. 512-481-7464. I saw one person. 512-481-7464. Sorry, next people call in. 512-481-7464. Hello. Today. Oh my God. All right. Today. Someone was calling. All right. Hello.
How's it going, B?
Hey, what's up, Cerebral? How you doing?
I'm doing good. Talking about David Icke, have you looked into Jordan Maxwell at all?
Yeah. Yeah, that's old school too. Jordan Maxwell kind of gets on my nerve, but I like his analysis of language and stuff. It really makes you think, but what am I trying to say? He kind of gets on my nerves just because he's just so, depressing.
Negative?
Yeah, and just, he's like, I'm just telling you what I know, but I don't think you'll ever beat him because they're just too powerful. I'm like, well, why'd you fucking tell us? That's how I feel
What cracks me up about that, though, is, you have all those famous people seeking him out, like Steven Spielberg. He's worked on several things. This is a man that, I agree with you. I think he gives out a lot of truth, but at the same time, then he always is like, but you'll never win.
Yeah, I'm like, well, damn, just, go back to sleep then. Shit. Thanks a lot. Fuck.
Yeah, just for giving me, the tools to, he'll talk about, self-learned helplessness, and then he'll, increase the self-learned helplessness.
Yeah. I'm just like, all right. So, you know what? I've also learned in this journey just to take what empowers me and just say thank you for the stuff. And I'm not going to take that for the stuff that doesn't. And it seems like a lot of people can't even do that, which is frustrating because they're very what am I trying to say? They can't really do that. It's frustrating. They're very drawn to they just want everybody to tell them the truth. They just want to get the truth from one place and that's it. Even in the, even on the right, even the truthers, even the conspiracy theories, I think it's just human nature unless you really kind of check yourself. But, that's what they want. They want people to just tell them everything. And it's like, no, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, no.
I didn't come to the conclusions by just, my brother probably thinks I just sit in front and watch InfoWars, even though I don't even really watch InfoWars anymore. But I just sit there and I just let them tell me what to think. I'll watch that and then I'll go and cross-reference what they say to see if it matches up. You got to cross-reference and check and see if there are other sources and then see what the source that they're talking about, see what their response to that is and how they respond and then see if they're being funded by anybody and see what their agenda is and see what their, there's so many things that you have to, there's so many ways to, there's a lot of digging you have to do, right? It's not just somebody saying something and then you just agree with them, because and it's funny, they think that
the same is true to you.
Huh?
I'm sure you purchased. The same is probably true to you. I'm sure you purchased, books. As soon as you heard about some of the stuff, you're like, okay, well, the internet is a good resource, but
Yeah.
We need to go to, like, you know, find the resources where these people are pulling these ideas from.
Yeah, exactly. And then compare it, right? Compare it to what. So it's like if Bill Gates, you know, like the Bill Gates TED Talk, where he's talking about how he wants to decrease the population through vaccines. Now he's not like outright saying it. I mean, he is outright saying it, but he's not saying it in a, you know,
malicious way.
Yeah, like a malicious way, right? So what I did with that is, okay, I'm like, I see that. I'm like, okay, well, maybe it could have been taken out of context, or maybe he didn't say what he meant. But then I go and I see his actions. Wow, he keeps going to, you know, they keep finding HCG in the vaccines that his company, you know, like there's been 7 countries where this has happened. Maybe you might get one time where that happens, but after that, it should stop, right? Oh, he's getting kicked out of India because he's paralyzed kids. Oh, well, you know, but he's like this philanthropist. Oh, well, look, his psychology says before he rebranded himself as this philanthropist that he actually stole the technology that he claimed to invent, and he actually, you know, they had to break up his company, you know. So is he really a good person? Do people with that like sociopathic mentality change overnight? No. So it's like, you know, it's like that's how you make those connections. And that's how you come to your conclusions.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the first things I started looking into when I even looked into people like Bill Gates, what was their childhood like? How did what were they being exposed to? Like, were they being exposed to, like, loving conditions and stuff? I mean, you'll see these pictures coming out even of the kings and queens, you know, where they're always with the kids and they're all smiling, and it's like, yeah, great photo op. How do you treat those children? Because you're trying to groom these people to be, you know, in a position of power. Mm-hmm. You know, and we know throughout history, you can go look in the like when Rome started falling, or even go look at the kings and queens. I mean, they were doing tons of terrible things because it was all about the power, you know. And I mean, even some of the nasty makeups they'd wear. I mean,
yeah, I know. But people don't even go that far back. They're like, oh, Bill Gates is so nice. I used to think that about Bill Gates. I used to love Bill Gates. I was like, oh, that's so nice. Like he's, you know, he's trying to help with health. When, you know, but then, you know, then I remember having a conversation with my friend. He's older. He's like one of my mentors, and I was like, well, maybe Bill Gates doesn't know that vaccines are hurting people. He was like, what the fuck? I was like, wait, what do you mean? And I was like, wait, maybe he doesn't know. I'm like, I just can't imagine Bill Gates doing that to people. He just seems like he's such a nice guy. You know, he seems like he's so sweet. But then I'm like, oh yeah, there's lots of people telling him. There's lots of people writing to him. There's been public, you know, discourse on the damage that his vaccines and his GMO foods are doing to countries on a large scale, and he's doing it anyway. Like I was looking at I don't know, do you know Vindaya Shiva?
I don't.
She's this badass environmentalist, and I used a clip from her in my conspiracy realist course. But you can also just Google the clip Vindaya Shiva GMOs probably, and you can hear her talking about it. She's written books on it, and she's basically trying to reverse all the damage that GMOs has done in India specifically, and I think she's been recruited to help out in other countries. But she was on a talk show and she was talking about how, and it's funny, the host was basically like, oh, well, Bill Gates wouldn't do that, and don't you think that he's trying to do a good thing? And she's like, but we're telling him to stop it. It doesn't work. It's destroying our crops, and he's doing it anyway. So that's a huge red flag. If it's like, who do these people think that they are that to come and tell us what we need, and we're saying, no, that's not what we want. You know, even when they go into all these third world countries, they're saying that, oh, we're here to help you, you know, poor lonely savages, you know, but they're not asking the people what they want, the quote unquote people that they think need their help, savages. The people aren't asking for their help. They're coming in there and telling them that we're going to help you. We're going to help you the way we're going to help you, whether you like it or not. And you really have no say. And you should be grateful that we're here to help you, right? Because if it weren't for us, you die, but they're killing them. Like, that's how psychotic it is.
Do you remember during the whole Ebola thing, when they were like, there was a bunch of things going down in Africa. They were trying to force vaccinate them for Ebola, I believe, and they were protesting. They were going out and saying, "Hey, the vaccine itself is killing people."
Yeah, no, yeah, I do remember that. And
they had to run campaigns to say, no, you need to get your vaccine because it's safe. We're telling you it's safe, and writing tons of articles. And I remember a lot of other people in the community that were doing research on this stuff were posting all the different news clippings and pictures of people protesting down there. They're saying, "No, I'm not getting your wacko crap."
I remember that. And the internet scrubbed a lot of that stuff. And I remember there was this guy, and this is when I first started. It kind of freaked me out. And but when I first did the podcast, so there was this guy named Nahira, I don't remember his name, but he's in Uganda. And they had a vaccine campaign there, and he was saying that what was he saying? He was saying that, people were getting paralyzed and dying from the vaccine, and people didn't want to take the vaccines. So they were basically coming into the villages at night and vaccinating people. And he was speaking out about it. And I was just like, but even get this, in the Congo, so there's this famous deposition. You might be able to find it. As soon as I found it, I ripped the shit and made a copy. It's 9 hours long, but there are people that have gone through it, and they've taken clips from it. And it's it's called, if you look up maybe Stanley Plotkin deposition, you might be able to find parts of it but they've tried to scrub a lot of that. But basically, Stanley Plotkin they call him the godfather of vaccines. When people want to make a vaccine, they basically they consult with him because he's like the top vaccine virologist or whatever. And so he got called in. He was being deposed for a case, and they called him in, and they held him for 9 hours. And this lawyer was so brilliant, taught me so much. This lawyer got him to admit so much stuff just by being calm, right? And he admitted under oath that he had experimented on over 1 million people in the Congo, and done experiments on without their consent. Yeah.
That's how they do it too.
And this is what the media should be reporting on.
But the recent one, Bill Gates had just he was bragging, on his Twitter page. He's like, "I cured polio," and it's you go click on the article and it says wild polio, and then you go look into it and you're like, why does it say wild polio? Why didn't you cure the natural polio? And they keep talking about the natural polio.
Yeah.
And it turns out the wild polio was the old form of polio, and that their new vaccine has created a new mutated version. And every person that every child they were given this vaccine was getting paralyzed.
Yeah, I know.
So what was Bill Gates' answer?
Yeah.
Dose them up more.
Oh, yeah. You know what? You know who does a really good breakdown of that is James Corbett. So James Corbett does a really good breakdown because he actually had somebody that was like, "Oh, you're lying," and see, Snopes said that you were wrong. And they basically, as they always do, right? They take the most hyperbolic, accusation, and then they pick that out, and then they say, "Oh, see, these people are crazy conspiracy theorists." But James Corbett was actually able to pull up the study of doctors in India. These are Indians that are saying this, that were documenting the cases, and they actually showed that they actually paralyzed hundreds of thousands of kids through their vaccine program. And it's devastating, and you can't find this information. I mean, if you go through him and you know where to look, you can find it. But if you just type that on the internet, you're not going to find it. They've scrubbed it, So that's another thing too. When you're researching, you have to know specifically what to look for, or else people aren't gonna know where to look. That's how you hide information in plain sight. It's out there, but if you know where to look. Right, if you don't know how to get to the dark web, how. So, anyway, let me take the next caller though.
Yeah.
If you don't mind.
Have a great day.
All right, thanks. All right, you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. 512-481-7464. 512-481-7464. 512-481-7464. I saw somebody call out. Here we go. Hello. Hello. Nunge. Hi, Nunge. How are you?
Fine. How are you, Christine?
Great. What do you want to talk about today? What's on your mind?
Well, what is on my mind is, we had that conversation about KKK and BLM, and you were saying, well, BLM is KKK, and I said, yeah, I get that, but they're not. And then you said, well, the KKK did all that terrorism stuff, didn't think they were bad people. They believed in what they were doing.
Yeah.
And they've been brainwashed into believing that they were protecting their community. And they were so pumped up with fear that they just did what they thought they had to do. And that's exactly what Antifa and BLM are doing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, when you said that, I understood it on a much deeper level.
Okay, cool.
Like we're not naturally fearful. Like to have this mindset that a group of people is evil, that has to be relentlessly pumped into us, and we have to be pumped up with fear all the time. And it's happening again with COVID because, I have friends who used to be like a little bit left of center, and now they're so far left. I wouldn't be surprised if, like, on election night, they go out and try to kill people. And these are people who have advanced degrees. You know what I mean? Like they have everything, and they're supposedly very highly educated because they have university degrees, even. But they're so arrogant in their position in life that it doesn't occur to them that other people have different perspectives. It doesn't occur to them that they could be wrong about anything.
Yeah.
And if the media is telling them, these Trump supporters want you dead, they'll believe it. Like even I have some friends on the left who are posting about that in Texas. The Biden bus came to Texas, and then a Trump train. There's a Trump train followed the Biden bus. And these people were making comments like, this is so disgusting. These people should be killed. They should be in jail. They're terrorists. They're, they're so aggressive and violent. And I'm like, nobody jumped out of their car to, take that bus down and, attack anybody. So what are they talking about? But it's just their perception,
Yeah.
And from the Trump side, somebody got the idea that since the media is refusing to report on all of these massive Trump trains around the country, well, they'll just follow the Biden bus, and then the media will have to report on how much support Trump actually has. So it's like it's their way of getting around the media, since the media has been censoring them.
Yeah, for sure.
But the people on the left, their perception of reality is distorted because, they just keep to themselves. They don't have any Republican friends. They see Republicans as monsters. So even a friendly gesture, like putting a hand out to shake hands, they'll see it as, a threat, like, oh, he tried to do jujitsu on me, he's so aggressive.
Totally.
Yeah.
He smiled at me. Oh my God, it was a microaggression.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like, oh, no, they don't see a smile. They see a grimace. They see a threat. They see, they don't see what's real. It's a mental illness. Yeah. And just, racism is a mental illness. Like those KKK people, they were mentally ill. That's it. Yeah. That's all. If you cannot.
It's psychopathy.
If you cannot perceive. It is. It is. So, yeah, that's what's on my mind. It's amazing, like what we can, when we don't understand people and we're told that they're bad and we don't see people, we see monsters. It's like that Black Mirror episode.
Oh, yeah.
What is it called? Culture on...
Well, just explain it, because we were talking about it. Explain the episode to them.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm just all about being, like... That's why I love nature so much, because it doesn't lie. There's nothing. It's it is what it is, you know.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and then animals, they don't have these like ideologies or philosophies that dictate their behavior. Like if an animal feels like you're safe, they'll act accordingly. If they feel like you're a threat, it's because they're feeling your energy, then they'll act accordingly. They're not going to like, oh, it's so funny. I showed my son that. I was telling him about Biden talking about liking kids to sit on his lap, and you know, he's got very hairy legs and the kids run their hands through his. And my son didn't believe me. He was like, no. I was like, look, let me show you. It took me like seconds to pull the video up, and he was like, people are voting for this guy?
Oh, wow, he changed his
kidding?
mind? Yeah.
Like, you know, like, don't they, you know, what? But it's just, you know, it's magic tricks, it's witchcraft, it's sleight of hand, it's, you know, you can take the most, you know, regular thing and twist it into something perverted, and then likewise you can take the most perverted thing and then just like remix it and make it look like it's so innocent. And then we were talking about like when Hillary, you know, she went, it was the Congressional Black Caucus or whatever, and she pulled out her hot sauce from her purse. And this is like the mob mentality thing is, I know that every black person was highly offended, but nobody wanted to show their offense because they wanted to look good and go along with the party line.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, I know.
It's like,
that's
if I show how disgusted I am, then what are people going to think of me? And everybody's having that thought,
yeah.
you know? But people are like revolted by her behavior, you know? But nobody wants to be the one to rock the boat, you know, because they have an agenda to fulfill and they have to stay on point no matter what, even if it means sacrificing our dignity, you know. Yeah, okay, we'll sacrifice our dignity for, you know.
And your morals,
just,
too.
Your morals, yeah. And I, a few weeks ago, it took me like 3 days to comb through the Democratic and Republican Party platforms. And it's like the Democrats are just all about fear, control. Most of what they wrote was like bashing Trump and the Republicans. And then at the very end, they're like, now we need a world in which people respect each other. You know, we just don't have enough respect. And I'm like, I actually wrote down all of these like incendiary words and phrases that if you were in a personal relationship with somebody, that would be a psychologically abusive relationship. You know,
yeah, that's smart.
All this abusive language. And then in the end, they're like, we need to learn how to respect each other. You know, I mean, it was horrible. And I was reading through, and there's some sections where the language is kind of plain, and I started craving my dopamine hits because, you know, I'd read all of this salacious language, and it's sort of like, you know, when you can't help but, you know, rubberneck when there's this awful pile-up, terrible accident on the side of the highway. So, like, every time I read one of these words, I would get a hit. I would get dopamine. And then I began to feel addicted and start to crave it because as bad as the words made me feel, it felt good.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's like, you know, it's like
I was
people are
like,
getting
wow,
high. People are getting high off the hate. And it's even like, you know, we've talked
Exactly.
about this. We've talked about this too. It's like you can ask somebody. And I noticed this when I, you know, especially started to drive Lyft or when I drove Lyft and I would pick somebody up. I'd be like, hey, how's it going? How's your day going? Oh, it was great until, you know, I woke up and I realized that Trump was president. I'm like, well, damn, like, okay. Like, even if Hillary was president, you know, I wouldn't, I'm not going to, like, let my happiness and revolve my life around who's president, you know? I'm very active in this. I'm very passionate about what's going on. But, you know, I'll just find another way to seek justice instead of this. I'm not going to, you can't let these people take your happiness away from you. You know, and there are people that do that. It's like they take these people's happiness away and then they replace it with the hate, and then they get the high off the hate instead of getting high off of the happiness. You know, it's like they've inverted everything.
And hate, you know, like hate is easier because like so many people, I remember when the shutdown first happened and then there were those like people were getting checks for being unemployed or whatever. And then it started to run out. And then people were like, oh, these cruel Republicans, they want us to go back to work. But people enjoyed the lockdowns because it's the first time in their lives that they could like get money without working.
Mm-hmm.
And they really wanted to just live the rest of their lives that way. And it didn't matter to them if their employees were like losing their job, their companies. But the lockdown gives people the excuse to kind of like not actualize what they're about and not be productive. But then there's always an excuse. It's like, oh, I couldn't do that because of the lockdown. I didn't do this because of the lockdown. I didn't because of the lockdown. You know, and I think that there are a lot of people who are like enjoying, you know, they're enjoying it. Yeah, and in a way, like on a very human level, I don't blame them. You know, it's like this is the first time in your life you get to take a vacation. You get to do nothing. You get to like just indulge yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And or even be jobless, and then everybody will, you know, you have an excuse.
Yeah, totally.
You have a reason.
Yeah.
And then it's like, you know, Trump is your enemy because he wants the economy to get back running, and he's in your way of this new life that you have. So, of course, you're going to hate him because you're going to want the universal basic income to kick in. That's what you want.
Yeah.
And he's in the way.
Yeah.
You know, he's protecting these, you know, small business owners. He's trying to keep them afloat. He's trying to help them, but that's not good for you if you're not a small business owner. And then, like, if you work in academia or tech or something, you've got it made in the shade.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Like one of these big tech companies, you're fine. Your job is secure. You can stay in your home for the next 5 years and just get everything through, you know, DoorDash or whatever, and never leave your house. And you're sitting pretty, but then you're going to sit there and point the finger at like ranchers and farmers and small business owners and look down on them like they're savages or something.
Yeah, exactly.
And say, yeah, they don't believe in science. Like, who knows science more? The person who like goes and works in an office and just pushes, you know, types on a keyboard and gets what they want, or the person who actually has to like live with the seasons and negotiate with the seasons, growing, harvesting, nurturing, watering, fertilizing, weeding. Who knows science better?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so it's like these
Ecology
two
and
classes
nature
of
and
people. There's, you know, you've got the technological class that lives in a very man-made, computerized world, and then the real people who, like, understand the cycles of life and death, you know.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. Like, I feel like I can imagine when, like, in Rome, you know, Emperor Constantine goes, okay, that's it. Everybody switch to Christianity right now, and then just, like, destroys their way of life for like millennia, and it's like, okay, now everybody be Christian, forget everything else.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you know, or the same thing like what Islam did to Christianity in like North and East Africa, it's like, okay, that's it. You know, you convert to Islam or you're dead. You know, everything's changing right now, and I think we're going through the same. So some people are going to just accept it and comply. Some people are going to pretend to comply, but they'll keep doing their own traditions underground. And then there's a smaller percentage of people are just going to be defiant. And they're like, no, I'm not bending to your rules no matter what.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And, yeah. It's really interesting, but like, to me, I don't care. It doesn't matter. Like, we see people on the left as being magical thinkers, totally out of touch with reality, and they think the same thing about us. But really, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if we're living in a like magical Harry Potter world or we're living in a very mundane world. It doesn't matter. It's the condition of the heart that
Yeah.
matters. Because when people are in touch with their hearts, they're automatically going to do the right things, and they're going to respond to situations and people correctly, because they're not judging anything by the physical world. They're judging by energy and intention and what needs to be done in the moment, you know.
Yeah.
Huge,
it's true.
different way of being. I'm like, you know, like, what if, you know, sometimes I do this thought experiment. I'm like, what if coronavirus really is as real and as deadly as they say it is? I mean, what if that's really true?
You know that it's not, because you know that there are other ways to
I know
gauge
it's not
that.
true. I try.
Yeah, but that's
I
the
try.
thing. But the people that really believe that, they're just basically, they're not thinking outside of that. They're not even entertaining the thought that they may be wrong, or that they're being lied to.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, you see, those people, you know, the saying, pride comes before the fall. Those people with that mindset are going to have a very hard time. They are not flexible. I mean, the world is changing so quickly, and I think that the people who are flexible and have nimble brains and see the world as, you know, like not this solid rock that's unchangeable, but who see reality as it really is, like energy. You know, the people who are so, I don't know. I mean, I see quite a few people losing their mental health, and also their physical health around this, because it just doesn't occur to them. It's like they have God complexes. It doesn't occur to them that they might be wrong about something.
Yeah.
You know, like what kind of to live like that, and then the media is telling you half of the United States is against you and they hate you.
Yeah.
What kind of a living is that? Like, I would hate to be day in and day out live with that type of fear and pain and paranoia.
Yeah, in that reality, right? It's just terrible. It's terrible.
Yeah, and it's like everybody's an enemy, and you know, and if everybody's an enemy, I just might overcorrect. I mean, I might wind up killing somebody because I see them as an enemy.
Yeah, well,
and they might be
how the
like
KKK
the best
was.
friend I could ever have.
No, that's how the KKK was. You know what I mean? Like you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Like that's why they were lit. I'm not like by any means condoning, but you know, I think it is good to try and get into the mindset of your enemy and figure out why. And you know, Jordan Peterson says this, which is, I think he's so right on this, where he's basically saying that you're not going to have a capacity to do good until you understand the capacity that you have for being evil. You know, even when in my anger, I know I'm not going to, but even there's some people that I see wearing masks and I just want to go, I kind of want to bully them. That sounds bad. I know, but I have to entertain that thought and know, like, I can't act on that thought, but I want to bully them just take off the mask. Not like I want to beat them up or anything, but I want to just be like, well, like, take that shit off your face. Like, come on. Like, snap out of it. Like, I just want to slap them awake. Be like, come on.
Yeah.
You know, for part, but I know, like, you know, and then I look at the Antifa kids and stuff, and there's one part of me that does feel like that. I'm like, oh God, they're brainwashed. Their kids, their lives are going to be ruined. Some of these kids are going to get killed and paralyzed and deformed, and you know, when they go out and they start to riot. And then there's another part of me that's like, I just want to break my foot off in their ass. Because they're so annoying.
You're like, they made the choice.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
For them, there was something inside them that was more attracted to fear and pain and power over people. That part of them was stronger than the part that's attracted to love, peace, understanding, whatever. So it's like, we only get attracted to the things that are stronger within ourselves. You know?
Yeah, and that's
and
how
it's
they
like,
manipulate. Sorry, go on.
Yeah. Like, why would somebody want? It's like, that's what they want. But when you look at it, often these people who are in these movements they came from extremely abusive backgrounds. Like, they've never in their lives experienced like a stable home or a peaceful home or any sort of stability. And many of them, you know, they were victims of like the the adults in their lives abuse them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's what they know. But at the same time, anything you want to know is free
Yeah.
on the internet. It's not like in the olden days, you have to get on a horse and go travel for months to find somebody. I mean, anything was right there. Anything, you know, it's free. But still people choose. I mean, I'm even thinking about like my Black friends who are very, you know, successful, and they have everything that they want, and they're still falling for this stuff, and they're
Yeah.
still choosing to support Black Lives Matter, and they're still choosing to like write posts or share posts about how Black people are victims, and you know, how people should just, you know, kowtow to us because we're so emotionally fragile. Like even them, and they have everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that to me just kind of blows my mind, because when people, it's like this materialism where we're taught by society that we value the worth of people or a person by what they look like and what they've accomplished and what they have. And then the whole conversation around principles, values, morals, ethics, like that just doesn't even exist in society anymore. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I know.
Bye.
Hey, you know what? Anonke, let me I want to try and take these two colors. I actually have a couple of people that are out of the country. I need to check and see if they can join. So this is a great call.
I'm glad you.
Huh?
I'm glad you picked up. Thanks. I'm glad you picked up. I've been trying for.
I know.
days
I
now.
saw, and I've been trying to yeah. Well, okay, but I'll talk to you later. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Let's see. Let's see. I'm trying to find this unknown person. I think that might be the person that is trying to call from a different country. Let's see if I might be able to call them back through Skype. Let me just check. If it's in Skype, if you call through your number, oh, okay. I'm going to invite to Skype. Hold on one second. No, invite to Skype. Okay. Somebody's calling. Let's try. Hello, who this is?
Hey.
Hey, who are you?
Thanks for taking my call, by the way.
Hey, yeah, you're welcome. Who is this? What's your name?
I'm Steven from Canada.
Oh, okay. Were you the one in the chat? I think there were a couple people.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so let me just make this disclaimer. If you're outside the country, and you want to call, you know, but I'm just letting other people know while we're on the subject. If you're out the country and you want to call, you can add me at info@Truth or Talk, and you should be able to get through that way. But for anybody else in the United States, you can just add the number. I don't think it will be charged if you use the number. Anyway, hi. Tell me your name again.
Hi.
Sorry, I just want to let people know that I had to add you and like accept your request. That's what was taking so long. But anyway, what's your name?
So I'm Steven. I live in Canada.
Oh, cool.
I'm from Montreal. I don't know if you know that city.
It's on the side. It's on the east side. It's north of like New York, right?
It's Quebec.
Montreal, Quebec. In the state, the province?
No, it's the province of Quebec, yeah.
No, I mean, that's what I mean. Like, okay, so Quebec is the province, but Montreal is the city. But it's on the east side of the, of Canada, right? It's eastern?
Yeah, I live in the French side.
The French, yes. Okay, yes. Got you. Hi.
Yeah. I saw you guys, I heard you guys talking about like lockdowns and things like that. And man, I'm sorry. Up here in Canada, it's insane.
So what's going on? Yeah, I'm really curious to know what's going on.
Here in Canada, it's where I live in Quebec, it's like we went in lockdown like around March, pretty much like everywhere else, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then around like May, like things started to like open up a bit. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So like around like June and July, like everything went back to almost normal, you know. And then we all had to wear masks, you know.
Like everywhere?
Yeah. No. Sorry, only indoors.
Okay.
And now we're like lockdown 2.0.
So
Right?
what was the cause of the second lockdown then that way?
It's a case-demic, as I call it. It's like
They're doing testing basically. They're doing a lot of testing.
yeah, like well, there are some hospitalizations supposedly, but
Allegedly.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah, supposedly, yeah.
You know how that is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
supposedly, right.
Yeah.
And they all, and like the thing is like, you know, when I tell people that, you know, I think that coronavirus is like is a hoax, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I have to emphasize that I don't think that no one's dying.
Yeah, for
right?
sure. Yeah.
Like yeah, those people they say that are at the hospital are there, right?
Yeah. Go on.
But it's just that like they're there for whatever reason, you know. They're there for diabetes, or they're there for pneumonias, and you know.
Yeah, exactly.
But they just label everything as COVID. Like, you know, if you test positive on this freaking fake ass PCR test, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I mean that's what I tell people too, but it's just like I feel like people don't, you know, I shouldn't say all people, but a lot of those people that are choosing to live in fear, they don't want facts. They just want to be scared. You know, they want to live in this
Something
world.
dawned on me recently, actually. What dawned on me is that, you know, I know your previous scholar said something about, you know, living for free, right?
Mm-hmm.
About receiving money. But I think it's deeper than that, though. I think it's the fact that they, like most people, right? Like before this happened, they lived pretty mundane lives, right? Like they went to work, they did their chores, and then went to bed, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now they get to feel like superheroes, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know, like I'm doing something good, you know?
Yes.
Like I'm a good person. I'm saving you.
But
you know?
yeah,
Like,
exactly. They think they're saving the world. That's what I've said. You know,
they get to
before.
feel like superheroes. Like for once, their existence has meaning.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I know, and it's like, but they know this. These assholes know this. They know they've been studying human psychology for years, you know.
Yeah.
And they're people that go to school in the media for mass media manipulation.
Yeah.
To, you know, but they say that they're learning to use it to, like, you know, create commercials and for the entertainment industry. But then this knowledge could be used for good or evil, right? It could be used, the knowledge about human psychology and symbols and colors and wording and language. It could be used to empower people, or it could be used to disempower people. And like a last caller was saying before, you know, talking about how the part of them, they, you know, that chose to be manipulated by fear was stronger. They know this. They're hijacking these people's insecurities.
Yeah. And it kind of disheartens me when I hear like American politicians. Like recently, I was watching this Obama speech, right, where he was praising Canada, right, for their COVID-19 response and their supposed free healthcare, right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me tell you, I'm from Canada. I grew up here. I lived here. It's total shit, you know.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's not. I mean, I'm not gonna say that it's completely like wrong, but like people here have to wait months and years just to get a family doctor, you know?
Wow.
Yeah, they have to wait hours and hours in the ER. It's crazy, like, you know. It's not.
So I'm just curious. Why do you think that you haven't fallen for the I mean,
what?
Why do you think that you haven't fallen for the hoax or the lies?
Well, it's a multifaceted answer, really. Because for me, it all started with 9/11, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I was only like 11 years old when that happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
And but like when I was like 17, 18, I started to really look into it, you know. because nothing really made sense, right?
Yeah.
Even historically, you know, just to give an example, right? When you read about World War II in history, right? In your history course, you see, you hear that, you learn that the U.S. and the Soviet Union were together, right? But then the year after, they became enemies. Like, really? you know, like, something was up, And then I learned about the technology transfers and, from the U.S. Army to the Soviet Union, just like Bill Clinton did with China in the 90s,
So you kind of understood, you had a concept that the government could lie to you, right? And
Yeah,
how
but
deep the
even more
lies
than
can
that,
go.
though, I think I came to the realization that geopolitics is a scam. Like, there's no.
Yes. So you're like, you went all the way down the rabbit hole.
Dude, yeah.
Okay. I get it.
I know some of your listeners are gonna be upset at this, but Trump is not. He's not on your side, guys. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I'm hanging up now. I'm just kidding. I
Sorry.
mean, you think of what you want. Okay, well, why do you think that?
Okay. First of all, if the deep state controls everything, right? Why would they let someone just slip through the cracks?
Well, this is the problem I kind of have with that thinking, is that then you're just giving them power, and you're saying that we have no power to change anything. That nobody, like, it doesn't matter what they do, it doesn't matter who.
But the power comes with you, though. I heard you talk about community, building communities. That's great,
Yeah, for sure.
Honestly, I think bugging out and starting from scratch and James Corbett actually has a few episodes on that. He has that peer-to-peer economy thing. That's amazing. It's an amazing way to get off to quote unquote get off the grid.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I want to.
I'm not gonna say that Trump is worse than Biden. I mean, obviously Trump is better. But the ideal thing would be not to put all your eggs in one candidate. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. For anybody. I definitely, I'm not really for idolizing people of any, I don't believe any of that. But I think, and I'm not trying to be insulting, but I think that a lot of people that kind of have that kind of thinking, I don't know if they're really tuned into the problems that Americans are having. And I think that there's so many people behind Trump because he's actually delivered on a lot of things that a lot of people that we've been helping, that politicians have been trying to deliver on for years and years and years. And go on. So I mean,
we can't think on a national scale, though. That's the main problem that we have. I'm thinking on a global scale. I don't think on a Canadian scale or American scale. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, but I think right now for the people of America, we're really just trying to focus on ourselves, and we can't really fix the world's problems until we fix what's going on here. So,
no, I know, I agree.
So I mean, he's bringing jobs back, I would say that fracking is bad. We need to stop oil, but we can't stop all of these things, just immediately, because we're so dependent. It's going to destroy us. So it's a lot of the people that are excited that all these jobs and industry jobs are coming back. If you want to switch to something more, better for the environment, you're going to have to give these people something to work with. You're going to have to.
Just an example. Look at the Operation Warp Speed. It's big pharma. It's big pharma deluxe, man.
I know, and I'm definitely against that. But I don't know. I don't know if he's playing along. If he's saying the real test would come if they try and force mandate people to have vaccines, because the vaccine
he said
paradigm.
The military was going to do it.
Well, he didn't say that they were going to drag people on the street and force them. He said
but it's it's voluntary. But if you don't, you can't go to work, and you can't do anything
I,
else,
I
right?
think that's a globalist plan. I'm just waiting to see what happens with
Yeah.
that. And I don't think that really he has anything to do with that. We'll see. There's some, like, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. But I
Yeah.
think right
Like,
now
look,
people are
I
just
think,
trying to put food on the table, and they're
yeah,
trying to keep their jobs. And I think
yeah,
that's the biggest issue right now. And that the people that have families and the people that they want, like, they the globalists, because what he's doing, from what I see, it's not aligning with the globalist plan. They systematically, and this has been
yeah,
going on for years, they've been outsourcing our jobs outside of the country, devastating us, messing up our economy, messing up, and not only financially, hurts people, but it also demoralizes people. They don't have a job. They don't have, the drug problems go up, which is good for
yeah,
the globalists, because that's more customers for them when they like bring drugs over illegally through the border. The border
yeah,
law, I live, in the lower part of the United States, so that's close to Mexico. The cartel has been a huge, huge problem. Murders, mass murders, like, there's a walk away video where this guy lived like close to Mexico. I've had friends that have lived, over there, where just killing, slaughtering people, killing, stealing land and stuff. The wall was huge. Maybe it's not going to stand up forever, but
yeah,
right now it is slowing down the cartels. There are people that live on the border. The border patrols is saying that it's actually, it's not going to stop everything, but it's definitely slowing people down, drug trade down big time. Like those are just
yeah.
simple problems that people are worried about. I haven't seen any politician that has given me, or that has put together a plan as far as like big pharma that is that is satisfactory to me, because my paradigm is very different than most people.
Right.
But as far as the warp speed, we'll see. I don't know what happened with that, because I know that he was questioning vaccines. There's been rumors that his son was actually damaged when he was younger. I don't know how much he has to
You're talking
play.
about what's his
Barron,
name? Baron?
Yeah.
Baron, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know, they said the military, but a lot of the military people are damaged from vaccines. I don't know how well that's going to go, because the military is one of the largest populations that's been vaccine damaged. A lot of the military are afraid to speak out because they're so sick that the only way they can survive is through their benefits. But if they speak out on being vaccine injured, then they'll lose their benefits. But a lot of military people know that vaccines are bullshit. I don't know. We'll see. I think there are people that want the vaccine. There are people that want it. And if you can't really do anything to dissuade them, then
Yeah, but I think there's also a lot of people, right, that are just like, oh, fuck, just give me the vaccine, whatever, as long as I can go back to whatever normal I had, right?
Yeah, but you can't help those people. I'm just, I know that sounds fucked up, but I'm just over it, Steven, because I've tried for years, and and some people are gonna have to get hurt or die. And that sounds terrible. I don't want that to happen, but this is why it started on this journey in the first place. I was a health freedom activist, starting with the podcast and then channel, because of all the damage that I saw working in special ed, because of what happened to my best friend and my cousin, because of what happened to myself with vaccines. But, this is where I also say it's like a spiritual war, because a lot of people are very prideful, and they don't want to admit that they've been wrong about something, and they're going to die or get injured in the process, because, it just sucks. There are people, I don't really know what to say. But he's also come out and said that therapeutics, for people that want vaccines, for people that want therapeutics. He said that I haven't heard him say that about the military recently, because I've been watching the rallies. But I was like, oh, hell no, I don't know. It's very complicated. We'll wait to see what happens. I hope this isn't the case. I understand what you say about not putting your eggs in one basket. That's with anybody, and I don't like the idea. I did a video a few months ago talking about Trump is not your savior. But I don't think it's good to but as long as we have the system that we have with the Constitution, with
No,
our
I
system is
agree. No,
corrupt.
like,
We need
yeah.
a leader at the moment, and in the
But as
future.
far as communities go, though, like I don't know what your stance on this issue is, right? But I'm of the idea that okay, one of the reasons that I'm against like globalism, right,
Mhm,
is that communities need to have like shared values, shared culture and history,
mhm, mhm.
right,
Yeah.
to have our harmonious society, right?
Mhm.
Like I don't know if you read I don't know if you know H.G. Wells.
Yeah, yeah. The time machine.
Yeah, yeah. When he talks in his book Open Conspiracy, okay,
Oh wait, H.G.
he
Wells
talks.
wrote a book called Open Conspiracy.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm gonna check that. Go on.
and he talks about the destruction of communities, right?
Yeah.
Where instead of people swearing allegiance to God, King, and country, it would be like concepts, right? Like flags, right?
Mhm.
Like like for example, when you become an American citizen, right? You swear allegiance to the Constitution,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Not to the American people,
Mhm.
right? So you're swearing allegiance to ideas, to abstracts,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Or like even here in Canada, when you become a Canadian citizen, you swear allegiance to. It's even worse. You swear allegiance to a foreign monarch. You
You
know?
swear allegiance to the Queen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like prime ministers, cabinet ministers, when they
So.
have their swearing in ceremonies,
Mhm.
they have to swear allegiance to Queen Elizabeth.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, because we're a Commonwealth country.
Okay.
So like every Commonwealth, I think that every Commonwealth country has to do that, but I'm not too certain. I'm not too certain though.
Yeah,
But
so
point
like
being is
Australia,
that
so it would be like Australia too, right? Because Australia.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So maybe if you become an Australian citizen, you probably have to do the same thing.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
basically, any country that has a prime minister, right,
Yeah,
and not a president is a Commonwealth country.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Well, Commonwealth, yeah. Like basically, my point is that like in many countries, you don't swear allegiance to the people. You swear allegiance to concepts, and monarchs or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, we need to have communities that are like tightly knit, right, and harmonious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Go on.
And nowadays, you're considered racist if you say that. But
Yeah, I know.
I mean, look at prisons. Prisons are a petri dish, for this kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, blacks go with the blacks, whites with whites.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
But people do that because of it's tribalism, and they do it
that's
for
what I
protection.
mean.
Yeah.
Humans
Yeah.
are tribal,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Humans are tribal. We're not hive creatures. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I think. Yeah. I think globalism. You know what? You know what it is though, Stephen. They sell
Yeah.
us globalism in movies in the form of like we are the world, and like once
Yeah.
there's no borders in those worlds. But they don't talk about the dark side of Like I like diversity, but
Yeah.
multiculturalism isn't a good thing. Especially you're throwing some people in a small space. That have different values and ideas, they're going to clash. And most of the time it's going to be
Yeah.
violent, especially if you're forcing
Like
certain people
like my city
yeah.
is actually one of the most multicultural in North America, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I see that there's a lot of racism here.
Yeah.
Like recently, there's been a lot of racist graffiti against Chinatown.
Yeah.
Here, because of the COVID thing.
Yeah, because the Chinese, they're like the Chinese.
Yeah.
Yeah. So people are
They're
so
considered
stupid.
like plagues, right?
Yeah. That's so messed up.
Yeah.
That's so messed
Yeah.
up. Like, oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, listen, guys. I want to stop at 12.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, sorry
Did
to
you
take
want to
your
wrap
time.
it up? Do you want to wrap it up before God? Then you'll be the last caller because I gotta go But I'll be on in the morning again at 10.
Yeah, okay, so I'll call you next time if I get the chance, okay?
Okay, thank you so much. It's so great to. Thanks for calling from Canada. That's awesome.
No problem.
Thank you. All right.
No
All
problem.
right.
Take care. Have a good one.
You
Bye-bye.
too. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey guys. All right. So let me just wrap this up again. Here. I would really appreciate it. This is how I'm gonna make my money now because I can't get any monetization. What do you call it? I can't get any. I'm demonetized, so I'm not. Instead of taking PayPal donations, I would appreciate it if you donate to my campaign that I'm using to. Oh, this is so good. There you go. Make the square bigger. If you can donate to my my crowdfunding campaign for my album and film project that I'm raising money for. Donations raised from start from $5 all the way up to $1,000, and you'll get a perk for each donation that you make. Join my Join my email list at truthertalk.com and join the other music email list at biaviofficial.com. That's Biavi is the name of the band. What else? Yeah, I will be back on tomorrow. I'll be back on tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Hopefully not on CP time because I think I was a few minutes late. But yeah, thanks so much for your support. You guys are so awesome. I already saw that I got some backers. The donation link is at the top of the chat and it's also in the description. Please share my music video if you like it. I'm trying to get as many people to my music page as I can. Anyway, and dude, 2 more days. Wait, today, 1, 2, yeah, 2 more days before we take our country back. So, all right, guys, I am out of here. I haven't even been eating today, so I'm gonna eat. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Love you. Peace. Bye bye. Mwah.